So apparently it's going to be one of those nights. Awesome. Love it. Thank you, YouTube. You are awesome. Got to wait for some people to get in here now. So, shall we start again? All right, again, let me just say, if they continue to play this game tonight, just wait. I will reload and come up live again within the hour, okay? Yeah, hopefully Law and Order Prepper. Hopefully the third time is a charm. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know why they play games like this. I really don't. And it's not, and guys, let me just reiterate this, okay? It's not just me. It's a lot of YouTubers going through the same exact thing. So I don't want you to think that I'm feeling like it's just me, whoa, poor me. That's not what I'm saying. It's just very frustrating when the games are being played by YouTube. So, they keep disconnecting, and it just, it's nonsense. But anyway, so that being said, if there's another disconnection, just give it a minute, wait. I will reload again, and we'll try for 4. So hopefully we don't have to do that, But so anyway, we're just going to continue on with this and hope everything goes well. So once again, let me just say this is a family-friendly oriented channel. Please keep the chat clean. Be nice to each other also in the chat. If you do not, my moderators will absolutely boot you out of here, okay? So it's because you're a rebel. Well, I definitely don't fit the mold of what the ideal person is, what they want talking, I guess, is. So anyway, what are you going to do? So let's get back on topic here. All right, so we were talking in the first 2 segments here before we were so rudely interrupted by YouTube about community and working together. Okay, so one of the other things, and like I said, in reading the feedback and what people had to say, they said, Pennsylvania's not a good fit. There's other places it would be better. And I am absolutely 100% open to looking at other locations. I'll be honest with you. I've lived in New York most of my life. I lived in North Carolina for a year after I got out of the service, and then I came back up here. I would not be against having a secondary location. I'd probably keep this one because I've put so much work and time into it that I wouldn't want to let it just go. But I absolutely am always open to a secondary location. And, Pennsylvania is not a bad area. There's a lot of good, positive things about Pennsylvania as well. So the area that I was talking about in Pennsylvania, I think is a very, very doable spot. Now, if somebody has other suggestions and you want to send me some information, I would absolutely happily look at that and kind of assess where that is, what's near it, and stuff like that. But there's the criteria has to be a couple of things, okay? It's got to be high elevation. It has to be high elevation, okay? And it also needs to be, obviously in a Second Amendment friendly state. We definitely want to have that as well. We want to have an area that's not against, off-grid living. So it would have to be someplace where they're not going to like freak out if a whole bunch of people move there and then go off-grid. So, but yeah, Law and Order Prepper said, after much research, Western PA does fit the bill for most preppers. It absolutely does. And the area that I'm talking about is a really, really nice area. And I really liked the area itself. It has water. That's another criteria. It needs to have access to fresh water. And it has, 11 streams and rivers locally around this town, plus springs. So, you dig, you're going to hit water, okay? I like the fact that, you do have the change of season. You do have winter. I'm telling you right now, winter is definitely a huge, huge advantage in a worst case scenario situation. People are not going to be out and about looking to do bad things because it's going to be too cold. They're going to be too busy trying to stay warm and survive through the winter. And a lot of those people would not make it through the winter, to be honest. That's just reality, okay? Again, American Republic just said safety in numbers. That's another really good reason to think about getting something like this in place. I'm telling you, and I was talking about this earlier, and I said, if you could, I was talking to a gentleman on the phone tonight, lives down in New York City. And I was saying, think about it like this. If you got a whole group of preppers that do plan on working together. So here's this, I'm going to give a scenario. And you're all moved in, say 40, 50 families or whatever, moved into this whatever town, okay? And so you've agreed, you plan on working together, for the collective good of the group and to help each other out. Now, so you get there, and Mrs. Smith, who is an older prepper, who's in her 70s, let's say, she needs like 20 face cord of wood for the winter. So we say, okay, anybody needs help with whatever project that they have, we put them on a list. And people need to contribute. If you have your name on that list and you want help with whatever project at your property, you put your name on that list and you're willing to volunteer to help other people as well, but you're also expecting to have somebody help you. So let's say we agree that one day a week, or once every 2 weeks, whatever the case may be, would be something that you'd have to agree on collectively as a group. And you say, okay, on Saturday, we're going to go over and we're going to help Mrs. Johnson get her wood. Now, if you've got 20 guys and women working on that project, how fast do you really think that would go? It would go way fast. So we bang out Mrs. Johnson's wood. Then we go over to Mrs. Smith's house and we bang out her wood, or whoever put, you're on you could be perfectly able-bodied. Okay, you're perfectly able-bodied, but you put your name on this list, okay? And you say, yes, I want to have my roof taken care of. 20 guys up on a roof, how fast could we get a roof taken down, put new plywood up and reshingle? It'd be a day. And then you have people, and here's the other part of it. You have people that have the skills and know how to do those things. They're the ones that are directing everybody else what to do, how to do it. So they would be like, of that particular project, the supervisor. So if you have somebody that does roofing for a living and they have that skill set, they can be the one saying, yeah, listen, this is how we got to do it, so do it this way. I'm telling you, guys, this would be something that would be a win-win for everybody. And the best part is you're forming that bond of brother and sisterhood now, before SHTF. You're helping your neighbor, which is what we should all be doing anyway, okay, now, before SHTF. And when SHTF happens, and if it is a huge global type of event, now you have this group of people that have already been working together, okay? And here's what's going to be the difference. So you already got this group of people that have agreed that, yes, we're going to work together. They're already working together. They're helping each other out, making everybody's lives better. And here's the best part. You can help other people, too, that have needs that maybe they're not preppers, okay, but they're elderly and they need help with something. We just go in and we fix up whatever they need to have fixed up. I mean, it's a really doable situation. But the best part is, after an SHTF event, the only thing that would be different is everybody that are working on these different projects together and doing different things, we would all be heavily armed. That would be the only difference after SHTF. You'd have to have lookouts. You would have to have people keeping an eye on things, and everybody would have to be armed. That would be the only difference. But fundamentally, if you have a group of people with the same core value system, okay, and for the most part, preppers have the same mindset. And I have had so many people on here email me, talking to them on the phone, and they say to me, a lot of things that I hear is, I don't have anybody to work with where I'm at. I'm doing this by myself, okay? I really think that if we worked together, what we could accomplish, nobody could stop us. And again, it's not about going into a town and taking that town over, because in any town, and I don't care what town you're talking about, any town out there, there's good people in that town. There's bad people in the town. But here's the best part about that too, okay? Collectively as a group, if more good people come into these towns, you're going to weed out and you're going to get rid of these bad elements, because you're going to persuade them it's time to go on and move someplace else. That's a doable thing as well. And if you think I'm wrong with that, you're dead wrong, because it's like, that is absolutely, you go and you have a very friendly conversation, and you just kind of explain to them that their time and what they're doing, be it meth or crack or coke or whatever it may be, that their time is done and that they need to go someplace else. And if they don't, there'll be consequences for their actions. I mean, that's a reality. That is a reality. the laws and the police and stuff like that are not protecting people now. Okay, they can't. There's so much going on. There's always something happening. They can't. So if we police ourselves, it is something that would be awesome. I would love to be in a neighborhood where my neighbor on this side of me, my neighbor on that side of me, my neighbor behind me, and my neighbor in front of me have their own little plots of land. They have their own little dreams and stuff that they're trying to do, but they're also preppers. And I know that when the time comes, we all plan on working together. There's nothing like that. And that's not a pipe dream. That is absolutely not a pipe dream. I live 4 miles outside of a town of 800 people. Lori Nielsen just said. That's a nice small town, very nice small town. Right, and here's a great American Republic just said, everyone can contribute in different ways no matter what. And you are 100% right. One of the conversations I had recently, I was talking to somebody and they were talking about there was an older prepper couple. They were in their 70s and groups wouldn't take them in, okay? People would not take them in. So what happened was these people didn't have anybody to help them. The elderly and people like that, they really have, and what do you consider high elevation? Anything over 1,000 feet or better. The higher up you can get, the better off you're going to be. That's would be that. But older people have a lot of knowledge. They have a lot of things that they can bring to the table that are going to help them. And I think that that's really, really important. Okay. And so, let's see. Move to where retired military and cops live. It's in one of the middle states. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I would love to have, I have ex-military in my group already. Love ex-military. All right, Mike Hunt, if that's even your real name. Why did I blow off Prepper Rabbit when you were in Tennessee? That's a discussion between Prepper Rabbit and myself. I don't air my dirty laundry on YouTube. And so if he has any questions, he is perfectly free to call me. I tried to call him. But of course, my mom's calling now right in the middle of the live stream. But he's perfectly free to call me. So if he has that question and he wants to know, he can give me a call, and him and I will discuss it as men do, one-on-one. I'm not going to get on YouTube and share my dirty laundry or talk badly about anybody or any of that type of stuff. And so that's that. So just so you know. All right. So somebody, Mike Hunt, if you want to play games, if you would like to get rid of him, guys, that would be great. Thank you very much, JJ. I appreciate that. So that's it. Anyway, yeah, he's gone, guys. JJ took care of him. So that's that. So anyway, getting back on topic, I wanted to address that because he put that question up several times, and it's that's something that Prepper Rabbit and myself need to discuss privately. And so if he would like to call me, he's more than welcome to. So, and I'll leave it at that. So anyway, what do I consider elderly? Well, I'm going to tell you what, I've known some people that are elderly. If you say elderly, could be whatever age. I'm going to tell you what, it's how you act. It's how you feel. You look at Greg. Now, Greg can be my neighbor behind me. You guys all see him and know him. Greg's 66 years old, so he could be considered elderly, if you will. I'll tell you what, Greg will outwork most people. Greg is in fantastic shape. He works all the time. He's very, very busy all the time. So, absolutely. So elderly is a state of mind. I have seen 75, 80-year-old people that are still capable of outworking younger people like crazy. Now, obviously, as we get older, more problems happen. The body starts to break down. That does happen. So, again, it's more of a state of mind than anything else. But I wish my grandmother was still alive. She would show me how to make a decent loaf of bread. Oh, I'm going to tell you what, the old timers, they have skills. And here's what I want you to think about, guys. So let's talk about the elderly and SHTF situation again. Okay. And a lot of people would consider older people useless eaters and stuff like that. Okay. The knowledge that older people have, number one, is tremendous. They've seen a lot. They've been through a lot. So they know a lot more than younger people do. Okay. They just do. Number two, if you have to have somebody on a comms watch, for a 2 or 3 hour shift, maybe a 4 hour shift. Elderly people can do that. Elderly people can watch the kids. They know how to raise kids. They've raised them their whole lives. They've raised their kids and their grandkids. So there's a lot baking, even on a limited basis. Maybe they can't get up and cook, for 8 hours, but they can get up and they can help. There's a lot older and elderly people can do and be very, very useful and be very, very an integral part of any prepper group. So that's my take on older people as far as in an SHTF situation. Now, if you have somebody, and let's be 100% honest, if you have someone who is completely bedridden that needs 24-hour care, if it's your loved one, obviously you're going to probably try to take care of them if you can. And not everybody does that. And I will tell you that right now. My family's very old school. That's what we've done our whole lives. We take care of our own. That's just what we've done. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody wants to do that. So what happens to those people? There's a question right there for you. If they don't have their loved ones taking care of them, who takes care of them then? And so that's something to think about as well. I missed something. For some reason, the middle of my loaf of bread is always mushy. That's not good, Maverick Prepper. Yeah, maybe you're just not cooking it long enough. Maybe you got to keep it in there for a little bit longer. Yep, you can. Richard Ruckman just said you can learn a lot from older people. You sure can. Like I said, they are a wealth of knowledge. I'm going to tell you what, in my nursing career, I primarily worked with two populations. I worked with kids and I worked with old people. Those were the main two populations that I worked with. And I sat down and I've had some tremendous conversations with elderly people, and they have so much knowledge and they can tell you so much. And the things that they've seen and the things that they've done, it's amazing. It's an amazing experience to be in that type of a situation. But but anyway, right, exactly. Grinning Owl says, visit the elderly, ask them how they survived the Great Depression. All right, you know what? You can go to a nursing home or any place else and do some volunteer work. Now, the stuff you're going to see in there is going to make you sick. I'm not going to lie. It absolutely will make you sick, some of the stuff you see. The lack of care that these people get, because not because the staff doesn't care. Now, let me just put that in there. It's not because the staff doesn't care. And when I say the staff, I'm talking your CNAs, your LPNs. Those are the ones that are your backbone in nursing homes, okay? They don't have enough help. They don't have enough staff in there to take care of those people properly, and management has a staffing minimum that they say is okay because they're not out there doing that work. So don't even get me started on nursing homes. Okay, so, but anyway, again, if you really truly want to work together as a group, and I did receive a tremendous amount of emails on this and some information I've shared back already with the people that had contacted me, but at why high altitude? Okay, high altitude, couple reasons for high altitude, and we'll get back to my other point in a second. High altitude, when SHTF happens, most people are going to travel the path of least resistance. So if the bottom of the mountain has got this straight road that they can go on to the next town, okay, or they have to go up this hill to get to the higher elevation, which way are they going to go? They're going to take the path of least resistance because they're lazy for the most part. Most people are, and they don't want to travel up that hill. And plus, they don't know what's up that hill, what's awaiting them, looking down on them. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're not going to have flooding at high elevation. Higher elevation you're going to have a lot less flooding to deal with. Now, you're going to deal with colder temperatures, but in the summertime, that is an advantage because if it's 90 down in the valley and it's 82 where you are, that's an advantage. It also means colder winters, which is also an advantage in my opinion, because you're not going to have people wanting to come out there and try to cause any kind of chaos in the wintertime. There may be some, okay, but it's going to be a lot fewer people trying to do that in the wintertime. So those are just some of the advantages of high elevation. You get that higher elevation. It's just strategically, if you own the high ground in a battle, that's half the battle. You don't want to have to be that guy traveling uphill. Look at Little Round Top, guys. The Union was entrenched in the high elevation. In the South was the Confederates were trying to take that position. Weren't able to do it, okay? They had the tactical advantage of that high ground. So that is a huge, huge advantage. So that's why high ground. So anybody was asking, about that. But we have rolling hills in northwest Missouri. One of the things, too, I'm going to tell you right now, Nancy P says, Ed, I don't think Prepper Rabbit is a good choice for a friend. Well, again, like I said, I'll be honest with you. I will not get on here. I'm not going to bash anybody. Choices that I've made are personal choices because I made a decision of who I want to be around and who I want to hang out with and who I want to be associated with. So I'm not going to bash anybody, but let's put it like this, okay? If you're hanging out with an individual that is doing nefarious things, and I'm not saying a Prepper Rabbit is, I'm using an example. So you're hanging out with this individual who's doing nefarious things, okay? And because you're their friend and they get caught, people go, well, wait a minute, that guy is hanging out with that guy, so he must be like him. In the prepper community, along with everything else, you need to pick who you decide to hang out with very, very carefully, okay? Who you decide to associate yourself. And if you see things that you don't like or don't care for, the best thing that you can do as an individual is disassociate yourself with that person. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying, so I'm not bashing Prepper Rabbit. I don't want you to think that, okay? Like I said, if he has any questions, he can call me at any point in time, okay? I have called him twice since I got back. He has decided not to answer my phone or call me back. That's on him. I won't be calling him again. So if he would like to find out anything, he can call me. And that's, like I said, I'm not going to get on here and I'm not going to bash him. I wish every prepper out there success, every one of them. So, and that's where I'm just going to put it like that. Sandy P says, sometimes people just don't get along no matter of the personality, but bad deeds. Right, exactly. Some people just don't. So, Clemens Lilly says, we have some abandoned towns. Well, like I said, guys, if you know an area that fits my criteria, where I'm talking about absolutely fits my criteria, there's a lot of opportunities here in this town that I've looked into, okay? And it would be a perfect area. There's not nuclear power plants near it. Again, it's up in the mountains. They're not putting a nuclear power plant up in the mountains. It's not going to happen, okay? So, Elisa Taylor says, my biggest hater used to be a good friend. I still have a cat she begged me to save in 2011. It happens. You're right. And it's like, and I haven't had a falling out with Prepper Rabbit. As far as I'm concerned, I have not, okay? So if he would like I said, I'm not even going to get into any more of that. But anyway, it is what it is. But and unfortunately, sometimes people need to move on their own way, and that's how it goes. Okay. So anyway, up in the mountains again, the spot that I'm talking about, there is not. Can you grow crops there? Yes, you can, Schmitty. You can grow crops anywhere. Honestly, if you have, it's not like this whole thing is just a big side of a hill. That's not what we're talking about. There's plenty of flat land. There's plenty of fertile land up there to grow in. Also, there's greenhouses. We can all do greenhouses if we had to. Probably the smarter thing is to do the greenhouses because of the growing season up here in the north. It just makes a lot more sense. It's a controlled environment. You're not so dependent on the weather being perfect for you to grow your crops. And that's what I like about a greenhouse, okay? One can grow anything in any environment with a little ingenuity and determination. Law and Order Prepper say. And you know what? You're 100% right. You are 100% right. Guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I absolutely would appreciate it. I see we got almost 450. We got over 450 people in the chat. We're at 145 on the thumbs up. So if you could shoot a thumbs up, I would absolutely appreciate that. Cross-reference strategic location with Amish communities. That's a sweet spot. Yeah, and again, if there's Amish communities, and they're all over in Pennsylvania, the Amish communities are all over the place in Pennsylvania. They're all over up here in New York. We have Amish up here all over the place, They're not a bad person to be near when SHTF happens because of their views and what they believe. They're not most likely they're not going to come against you. They live a very simple lifestyle now. Not a whole lot's going to change for them in an SHTF event other than the fact that they're going to have more people coming in and trying to take their stuff. That would be the difference. Would you transport your greenhouse? We would have to see. I mean, it's like, if I was going to make that, well, first of all, if I was going to look at getting something there, I would buy the property there first and keep this for right now and work on that place as well. And that's kind of how I would do it. From where I am, it's not really that far of a drive for me. So I could do that. I'm not locked in that I have to be here other than the animals. And I can always have somebody else, watch the animals, meaning the chickens and stuff like that, while I took off, and the cats. And no, I'd probably take the dogs with me. So, but again, that would all be. I'm picking off these trolls with my slingshot. JJ said, "That's awesome. I like that." They don't want to do anything with the English. Cat says, "You're right. They don't. But I'm going to tell you what. In an SHTF event, Cat, what they are going to need is they're going to need protection. Okay. One of your biggest things after an SHTF event, guys, is going to be protection. And if you have the manpower and you have the firearms, people are going to be, those Amish are still going to want to farm. They're still going to want to do their thing and not be bothered. So if you can give them protection, you can trade protection for goods. It's that simple. And that is going to be a huge thing in a post-event. I'm going to tell you what, in a post-event, guys, now you talk about what they're trying to do to us now. They want us to give up our freedoms in the guise of protection, right? In a post-event, a lot of people are going to give up their freedoms for protection. If there is a group that can protect them and keep them safe, they're going to go in there and they're going to do exactly what they're told. And, that's the reality of it. You would be surprised how the Amish will trade with you. Oh, yeah, they will. They would absolutely trade with you. Ice Age Pepper did a chat from his Geodome, and you were mentioned, Ed. You need to do a live chat from your dome. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I could probably do that. Well, tell him I said thank you. I'm going to tell you what, like I said, greenhouses are the wave of the future as far as prepping goes. You absolutely need to be looking into doing that in a controlled environment like that. It doesn't have to be a geodesic dome like I have. There's all kinds of different ways, even on a small scale, that you could put in smaller greenhouses and produce, crops. So that absolutely is something that is very, very doable. So, but again, working together, guys, it can happen. So the area that I'm talking about, I like the area. And so until somebody says to me, there's something better, I'm going to stick with what I'm talking about right now. And I think, and I'm going to tell you what, I got a tremendous response. I called a couple people. I did not call everybody, I'll be honest with you, because if I was calling everybody, I'd still be on the phone. With me, I think you guys could probably figure it out. There is no 10-minute conversation. It doesn't work that way. So if I get on the phone with somebody, next thing you know, half an hour is gone or longer. So, again, I really think it's important that we look to work together. Try to do something where, and here's the thing, maybe you can't make the move right now, but you plan on coming to that, that community, and, you get a piece of property and you work at it, Ed, I'm on looking at the info you sent. Okay, Lori, that's cool. That's very cool. But again, now the information that I sent is just a small example. Okay. There are places for sale in this area. When you have a town that a lot of people are leaving because it's a small town and the kids grow up and they want to get out and they want to go see the world, and you'll be surprised too, which is funny. Kids can't wait to get away. I had a teacher when I was in 10th grade, and I think I may have told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again because that's what I do. So in 10th grade, my social studies teacher, he was a tremendous, tremendous man. He's probably gone now, is my guess. He's probably passed by this point. But anyway, he had said, who plans on leaving? Because I was in a small school, okay? So who plans on leaving Caledonia and never coming back after you graduate? And I'm going to tell you what, 80% of the class rose their hands. And he said, out of all of you, a lot of you will leave. But almost everybody, except for maybe one or two of you, will leave, come back, and you will settle 50 miles of this location. And I can remember at the time going, no way, man, I am out of here. You know what I mean? And I did leave, and I went to service. And then when I got out of the service, I did move down south, and I was down there for a year. And then, I came back north, and home is home. And no matter how much you hate it as a kid, a lot of times you're going to be nostalgic for that, and you want to be that. It's a comfort zone. It's where you feel safe. And so a lot of people, they may leave, but a lot of them are going to come back. Some of them won't. Some of them will go on and do whatever they're going to do in their lives and stuff like that, and that's fine. But like I said, you're going to find an area it's a good area, a lot of decent people, and that's what it's about, and that's how it should be. And if you can integrate yourself into a community and become part of that community, there's a lot of good people in that community. And when a time comes and they see that you are there, not just for the prepper group that you have formed, but for that community. I'm going to tell you again, and I've talked about this before, what you are going to see happen when SHTF happens. These small towns all across America, I don't care what part of America it is, these small towns are going to lock the doors. Their way access into that town, they're going to put up roadblocks. They're not going to let new people in there. Okay, they're just not going to do it. And so they're going to lock it down, and they're going to say, that's it. Nobody else comes in here. And so if you can get yourself in that community and integrate yourself into that community, I'm going to tell you what, when the time comes, that community is going to thank God that you're there. They're going to be like, man, this is awesome that all these preppers are here. So don't ever kid yourself that they won't be grateful. And again, you're not looking to go in and now I'm going to be in charge of this town. It's not what it's about. It's not what it's about at all. It's about working together with your group, also being part of that community, being a good neighbor, being a good person, and knowing the more of us preppers with the same like mindset that are willing to work together, those people, knowing that there's all the difference in the world as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, it can make such a difference. So reconsider being newbies into the world during SHTF. Plan accordingly. All right, exactly, Grinning Owl. You don't want to be the one with that pack on your back, trying to find some place to go, trying to figure out what you're going to do. Here's another thing, an advantage of the North and high elevation. So I'm going to tell you about this too. When SHTF happens, all these city folks, okay, they're not going to come up to that high elevation. They're not going to look to go into the mountains. They're going to look to go south, and they're going to look to get south as quickly as they can because it's going to be warm. Okay, they're not going to want it. If SHTF happens in the winter, the ones that have survived that first winter, a lot of them are going to be south as soon as that weather breaks. They're going to get away from the north because it's too harsh. They can't handle it. But if you are prepared to handle it and you have planned ahead and planned accordingly, it's not a big deal for the rest of us. Okay. And again, less people trying to take your resources, trying to kill you, trying to hurt you, trying to do bad things. And again, there's so many advantages of being in the north in a post-event. And again, if you have the greenhouses in place and you have your infrastructure in place and you got your solar and you got everything else ready to rock and roll or already up and running, okay, no stopping us at all. And then again, you integrate yourself into part of the town, you get on committees, you get on boards. Now you can sway the vote whatever way you want it to go. If people are trying to make more restrictive laws against prepping and living off grid, you can make a difference and say no, if you're part of that community. And there's a lot of things that can be very advantageous about doing this, a lot. And again, nothing is better than you underestimate the cold. No, I don't. No, I know how cold it can get. I know how bad it can get. But if you are prepared for it, it's not like we're up in Alaska where it gets to 40 below, and we're not up in the Arctic. It's never going to be that bad. If you had to hunker down for the winter and dig in, and in a community, it could be survivable, especially if gates and barbed wire. Exactly, Joe M said. But again, this is what we're talking about: working together. And again, if you have preppers in your community, you're going to check in on people. You're going to make sure everybody's okay. People are still going to listen. People are still going to get sick. People are still going to die. People are still going to have kids. There's going to be conflicts. People are going to be, I'm mad at so-and-so because they looked at my wife. All kinds of stuff, guys. These things are going to happen. That doesn't go away. But if you can get yourself together with like-minded people that have a common goal, which is to survive whatever is coming, and that's hopefully most of the people watching my channel, you have that mindset. I'm hoping you do anyway. That's what it's about. Guys, if you haven't shot me a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I would absolutely appreciate that. I see we're up to like 460 in the chat, and we're at 226 on the thumbs up. So this one's actually hopefully looking like we're going to maintain. We're 35 minutes into the chat, so that's a good thing. And it's about 8:45 already. So hopefully this will be the last one of the night. So third time's a charm, right? But again, guys, we can do this. All of us. Don't ever become despondent. I know a lot of people out there feel very alone. And I understand it and I get it. You know what I mean? I really, truly do. But if we work together for the common good of ourselves, for a community, and we all go to that same area and start buying up properties and doing stuff, it would be amazing how cool that would be. It really, really would be. And it's doable. This is not a pipe dream. This is not a fantasy. This is something that is absolutely very 100% doable. And I think a lot of people want to be around like-minded people. I know I like being around, like with Greg and his wife Chris as my neighbors. I love having them as a neighbor because when SHTF happens, we already have decided we are working together. So, our properties touch each other. So, again, the other people that are up here, I feel that a lot of those people would work together because, again, it's for their own common interest, which is to survive. And so, maybe some people are not as prepped up as other people. That happens, okay? But if you have a goal and you have, now this is something else that I had talked about with somebody else about a minimum standard of what you should have prepared. Get that minimum standard. Get to that point, if it's 100 pounds of rice per person in your family. So you got a family of 5, make sure you got 500 pounds of rice minimum, okay? Get those beans, get the rest of the stuff that you need to have. Rice is so cheap, guys. I mean, it is so freaking cheap. It's unbelievable. And you can use that as a base for a lot of things. So, again, having something to eat as opposed to having nothing to eat. That's the way I look at it. Let's see what we got here. Learn as much as possible on prepping now. Ronnie just said that. You're right, Ronnie. I agree with you 100%. Make yourself a valuable asset when the time comes. The more knowledge that you have, the more things that and again, with knowledge comes practice, okay? Practical practice is a huge thing. So read the books, figure out how to do it, and then practice it. And get that skill down. Be it sewing, be it making shoes, being a cobbler, working with leather. Get that skill down. Learn how to do it because at the end of the day, that's going to be something that is going to be very, very valuable in a post-event. Very valuable. What's my minimum standard? You know what? We would have to sit down and come up with a number that's agreeable with everybody. Realistically, so if we have a group, say you have a group, you decide you're going to make a group, and you got 5 different families, okay? And every family has a different number of people. So your minimum standard should be everybody should have per person, again, a minimum of 100 pounds of rice. So if they got a family of 5 and you got a family of 3, they should have at least 500 pounds of rice. You should have at least 300 pounds of rice. Then you say, okay, minimum standard for beans, let's say 50 pounds per person, okay? So that family needs to have 250 pounds of beans. You need over here with your family of 3, you need a minimum of 150 pounds. Now, again, my philosophy is there's no such thing as too much. Rice stores very, very well. It can last a very, very long time. Beans also can store for a very, very long time. So you're going to want to look at your staples that are going to be there, that are going to be able to be used on the road. Sugar. You're not getting sugar. You're not getting cane sugar after SHTF, okay? So the more sugar that you have on hand, the better off you're going to be in that type of a situation. So that's something else to think about. So again, you have to look at what do we need, maybe Charlie can get great something, and so everybody pitches in and gives Charlie a little bit of money to buy that product, and then when it comes in, then you divvy it up according to how much you put in. I mean, those are things that can happen, guys. What about brown rice? Brown rice doesn't store like there's a lot of oils in brown rice. So brown rice is actually more nutritious than white rice, but it will not store long-term like white rice will. So I love brown rice, so I'll be honest with you. You can have brown rice in your stores, but it better be something that you eat on a regular basis. It's in your diet right now, and you're rotating that constantly. So if you decide, hey, I want to have 35, 40 pounds of brown rice, and as long as you're using, like, you got this bucket here, a smaller bucket with 10 pounds of brown rice. You use that up, and then you get another bucket of 10 pounds of brown rice, and you go on to the next bucket. That would be the way I would do that. How long will peanut butter last? Now, there's a debate on peanut butter. Some people say that peanut butter will last about 18 months, okay? I've heard that if you flip it up and upside down and get the oils moving, it can last longer. But, again, I keep peanut butter on hand, but it's something that I use basically not on a daily basis, but, I do use quite a bit of peanut butter, and the kids eat a lot of peanut butter as well. So I do keep peanut butter on hand. Peanut butter is a great protein source and a fat source, too, because of the oils and stuff like that in it. So it's really good to have. Oh, yeah, there you go. I have powdered peanut butter. Happy Elf just said that. Yeah, so you could go. My eyes fogging up here. I'm sorry, guys. Powdered peanut butter is a good way to go. Powdered eggs, powdered milk. Those are really good things to have. How long to freeze rice and grain outside? Probably with moisture. Okay. My suggestion is you want to get rid of any kind of parasites and stuff like that that's going to be in your beans, your rice, and stuff like that. So if you take that and you put it in the freezer 2 weeks, if you have it sealed up, you put that in the freezer for a couple weeks, you pull that out, and then you can store that. You've probably killed all of those weevils or anything else that is in that food. It's a good way of doing it. It's a really good way of doing it. Sugar cane will be in short supply. Sugar beets will be the new sugar source. So stock up on sugar cane. And you got to remember, too, Grinning Owl, honey. Honey is going to be a huge, huge demand after an SHTF event because, again, sugar cane is not going to be available. So you're going to have what you have with sugar. Have your molasses, too, so you can make your brown sugar, okay? You can store brown sugar as well, but if you have, white sugar and you have molasses, that's how they make brown sugar. So have plenty of white sugar. It stores great. It's going to store for a very, very, very long time. And, it's a great, great resource to have in a post-event. It really is. Where can I get powdered peanut butter? You know what? There's all kinds of sources online. So what you can do is, search, go into Google or whatever, and search powdered peanut butter. Where can I get it? And you're going to get a lot of responses and stuff like that. And then just, figure out what you want to get and how much you want to get and go from there. So, hey, our cabin, how you doing tonight? I see you just got here. Welcome, welcome. So, I'm looking to buy hard red wheat. I couldn't. Could I freeze that as well? You could, absolutely. If you get wheat, if you get it where it's still, solid together and all that type of stuff, it's another good way to do it. You can freeze anything as far as that goes. It's a smart way to do things. It really, really, truly is. So what do we got here? Let's see. Yeah, honey lasts forever. Exactly. Honey will crystallize, but under heat, it'll go right back to that liquid form. Honey will last forever. So they pulled honey out of Tutankhamun's tomb that was 2,000 years old that was still edible. So think about that. So that kind of gives you an idea. I make yarn and string to make different things with cotton balls. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. And that's going to be something that after an event, that's going to be very important. Think about just even mending clothes, having that skill to be able to mend clothes after an event. People are going to have tear-outs. People are going to lose a tremendous amount of weight. So the jeans that fit us today, once we've lost 30 and 40 pounds, are going to be kind of loose. So you better have somebody that knows how to take them in and, make them so that they fit you. Let's see. I just got the Mylar bags for my flour, beans, and rice. All right, flour doesn't have a whole long shelf life, so just remember that. But, Mylar bags are a good thing to do. Make sure you have your oxygen absorbers with that. And, you can use a hot iron to seal them up. That's what I use. I use a straight iron, or the curling iron, but it's a flat iron. That's what it is, flat iron. That's what I'm talking. And that's what I use when I'm sealing up Mylar bags. It's exactly what I use. So corn is still good from the ancient Pueblos. Yeah, exactly. There's another thing. Exactly. You can, if you store it that way, you dry it, store it. It's another great way to have it, another good resource to have. There's a lot of resources out there. Food is so key, guys, when people have no idea how important food is. As long as you have access to water, you can drink water and all that, you'll be fine as far as water goes. You want to make sure you purify that water, obviously. I got something, too. I'm going to do a video on this at some point here soon, but I wanted to show you what I picked up on my travels as well, but that's another video. So, guys, if you haven't shot that thumbs up yet, I would ask you to do that. We're at 273 on the thumbs up, and we got like 450 people in the chat. So if you haven't done it yet, I would ask you to do that, please. So now at this point in the show, because we're almost at the end, I got to do this part, of course. We are Legion. There are so many of us out here. There's so many of us that we can make a difference. We are all over the country. We are all over the world. So everybody tell me, where are you guys from tonight? Oh, JJ is saying a big eruption, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too, JJ. We have Kent in the UK, California, Chicagoland, Oregon, Hudson, California, if I'm probably saying it wrong, Indiana, Long Island, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Liberty Hills, Texas, Florida, the North Pole. Okay, very cute. Syracuse, New York, Maryland, Albany, New York, Kodiak, Alaska, New Zealand, Linden, Texas, Brooklyn, New York City, Minnesota, Binghamton, New York, South Jersey, Spain, BC, Canada, Southern Indiana, Vegas, Oklahoma, Ontario, Central Connecticut, Texas, Horseheads, New York, Salt Lake City, Utah, Fort Payne, Alabama, Hudson, Florida, Illinois, Iowa, Arkansas, Grant, Alabama, Horseheads, New York, Detroit, Tampa, Toronto, Canada, Colorado, Illinois, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Petersburg, Virginia, Corbin, Kentucky, Mobile, Alabama, we got Illinois again, a lot of Illinois tonight, Stockton, California, Washington, South Carolina, Tampa. So, guys, we're not just all over the country, we are all over the world as well. And we truly, truly can make a difference. All of us can. We are this huge network of people, huge family, huge group of like-minded people. And I'm telling you right now, we are the ones that truly can make a difference when that time comes. We really can. And again, working together and working with a like-minded goal of trying to survive what's coming, it can make all the difference in the world. It really, truly can. So, again, that proves that we're all one. Exactly. Our cabin in the woods. We are all one. We all have the same mindset. And imagine what we can accomplish if we work together. Amazing what we could accomplish. And, in a and especially before an event, the difference we can make. And in a post event, the tremendous difference we can make in a post event. Unbelievable. It really is. So, again, let's plan on trying to work together. And again, I received a tremendous response. I'm going to try to call more people. I sent some links to people that had contacted me. I called a few people. I couldn't call everybody. I really couldn't. It's just not going to be able to happen right away. But I do plan on making more phone calls and talking to more of you. And, we can put a game plan in place, guys. And I think that we could really make a huge, huge difference. And it's about, remember this too, it's not just surviving what's coming. It's surviving it, but then it's thriving while it's happening and thriving after it happens. Because after whatever major event happens, we have to rebuild. We have to start over. And I don't really want to, be someplace that has no power, no amenities that we can utilize and stuff like that. If we have the right people all working together with a whole bunch of different skill sets, man, amazing what we can accomplish. Because you know what? Not all of us are plumbers. Not all of us are electricians. Not all of us are carpenters, but they're going to be very, very valuable in a post event. Your military guys with strategy, with what they've seen, with what they know to look for, they make a difference as well. Cops as well. I absolutely welcome police officers into my group. I have no problem with police officers. I know a lot of people hate the cops, but they're doing a job just like anybody else. And what they got to deal with today, I wouldn't want to have to deal with it if it was me. I'll be honest with you. I couldn't do their job. So my hat goes off to them because they're completely scrutinized. Every action that they take is questioned. And of course, again, there's bad apples in every group, okay? I don't care. Whatever you go, any kind of job, anywhere, there's going to be bad apples. So, of course there's bad apples in the police department, but that happens, unfortunately. Oh, somebody just put in dentist. Yeah, dentist is going to be hugely, hugely important afterwards. Absolutely. So military personnel will be tracking the preppers. I don't think so, Mr. Minnesota. They're going to have their hands full so much. I owe you 15 minutes because of YouTube. Well, right now I've been live here for 50 minutes. I'll stay on for a little while longer. I will stay on. But, yeah, we had the screw-ups earlier, so I'll stay on for a little while longer. It's not a big deal. But, yeah, it's, the skill sets of different people out there is going to make a difference. And remember something else as well. You're going to have people in your groups that you never expected to have. And I've said this over and over and over again. I have a lot of people go, oh, no way, I'm not bringing anybody else in. That doctor walks down your driveway and is an MD, and he brings a skill set. That dentist walks down your driveway, and he brings a skill set. You have the eye doctor that knows how to take care of glasses and do all that type of stuff. That's a skill set. Those are important people that we're going to need to have in a post event. Now, does that mean because they're the doctor, they get to sit on their behind and not do anything else when things are happening? No, they're going to pitch in like everybody else. But, if there's that emergency, their job, their number one priority is to take care of people, so that's important to remember too. Your military guys, you're going to rely on them because they have the skill set. They know what to do. So if you have somebody that is, knows how to shoot, he can teach people and get people up to snuff to be able to protect the group. I mean, there's so much, guys. I mean, I can go on and on and on forever and a day about it, but it really, really does make a difference. It really, truly does. And, and if you can get a doctor in your group before SHTF happens, that is the way to do it. I'm a diesel mechanic by trade. And there you go. Pacemaker 83 said, you know how valuable you're going to be in a post-event? Unbelievably valuable. And that skill set that some people may frown upon now because you work with your hands and you get dirty, they're going to be begging you to help them in a post-event. That's the end of my tea. But guess what, JJ? I got my backup. So we're all set there. Let's see. Hopefully electricians would be needed. Yeah, they absolutely will be needed. Veterinarians too. Yes, exactly. Well, a veterinarian not only can take care of the animals, they can also take care of people. Obviously you guys watch The Walking Dead. A lot of you have. And, God, what was his name? He was a veterinarian, but he became the doctor. He just passed away, that actor did. I guess he was 76. I just saw that he passed away, which was kind of sad because I actually liked him. Let's see. Okay, so Sally Cox, you know what? I don't want to hear that. I'm going to tell you what Sally Cox just said. I'm just a CNA. No. In a post-event, you have skills that other people do not have. You go from being a CNA to the nurse. That's who you go to, Sally. Don't ever, ever, ever put yourself down and say, I am only this. I don't want to ever hear any of you guys put yourselves down, ever, and say, I am only this. Every skill is going to be valued. CNA is going to be a very important person, again, in a post-event because you have a skill set, okay? So please don't ever put yourself down. I don't want to ever hear you do that again, Sally. Please don't do that because we all have worth. All of us do. So that's important to remember, okay? Military medics, Grinning Owl. I'm going to tell you what. Military medics have a lot more skills a lot of times than RNs do, because they're out there in the blood and guts dealing with injuries that that are terrible. So, yeah. Yep. And Annie just said nurses rely on CNAs. I'm going to tell you what, in my nursing career, did a lot of supervisory work. I usually worked either second shift or third shift as a nurse. Okay. Had a lot of CNAs work under me. And I always told my CNAs, these people better than anybody else. I said, if you see a change or if you see something wrong with any one of these patients, you come and tell me and let me know, because the CNAs are the backbone of the nursing home. And unfortunately, they're the ones that are treated the worst by management. That's a true fact right there. Very, very true fact. Don't forget the grandparents. They have lived through stuff that we never knew of. Knowledge is king. Renee, we talked about that earlier, and you are 100% correct. The elderly people have a lot of knowledge that can be very, very valuable. They can do a lot of things that can be very valuable to a group. Now, can the older folks go 6-8 hours at a time? Of course not. They have to pace themselves, but they're still going to be very valuable contributors in a post-event. They really will be. So, let's see. We will need to write things down after I say Stiff. You are absolutely right. That knowledge has got to be written down. Trades. Here's an important thing, and I want you to think about this. Okay, so you've got your carpenter in your group. Okay, so he knows how to do everything. So are you just going to go, well, we're just going to let Charlie go off here? Okay, like Greg. We'll use Greg because Greg's a carpenter. We're just going to get Greg go over there and do his thing because he's our carpenter. When Greg gets sick and Greg dies, what happened to all his skills? They're now not valuable anymore because they're gone. What Greg's going to do, he's going to take a group of 5 guys at a time, or women, doesn't matter which one. And I said guys because I'm in people. So we'll say he takes 5 people at a time. He's going to teach them. This is what you got to do, and this is how you do it. That's what that valuable thing that he has that he's going to do. Me as a nurse, I'm going to take 5 people and I'm going to say, okay, listen, we're going to go over the basics of this, that, and the other thing. You're going to be teaching a lot of people how to do a lot of things in a post-event. Multi-skills crossing lines, because you know what? We never know when somebody's going to get sick. We never know when somebody's going to die. You don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. So the more you can cross-train people in your group, the better off you're going to be. You're absolutely going to be better off. Nice choice. Mine as well. Can't eat or sleep if you're frozen to death. Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do anything if you're frozen. So, yeah, wood stoves are big, guys. And here's the other thing to think about too. You got your wood stove, right? It's awesome. It's wonderful. Make sure you have extra piping. That piping's going to wear out over time, so make sure you have that extra piping. And I'm not talking about the triple wall stuff. That stuff's pretty resilient. I'm talking about the piping that you have coming into your house and stuff like that. The black piping. Make sure you have extra black piping. That's going to be very, very important to have. So let's see. What are we at? 327 on the thumbs up. We're 427 as far as people. If you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, I absolutely would appreciate it. Make sure they know how to insulate it. Yeah, well, insulation is going to be a big, big thing. Big thing. So anyway, guys, if you haven't done that thumbs up yet, I'm just going to ask one more time here real quick. If you would do that, that would be fantastic. Guys, I love these chats. There's a lot of great sharing of information. Again, anybody that's contacted me about working together, and there was a lot of people, guys, a lot of people contacted me. A lot of them I sent out emails of the information that I had. I will try to call you guys. I will try to get to all of you. It's going to take a while. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to happen overnight. But I will be getting on the phone with everybody and trying to work on, getting those calls done. Let's work together. Let's make this happen. We can make this happen. And I'm going to tell you what, it would be fantastic when we do. It really will. So I am going to jump off of here for now. It's been a long day already. Oh, and I did end up, I just want you guys to know, I showed you doing me the kindling earlier, and I said, yeah, I'm just going to do 3 loads. Well, once I got the 3rd load done, I said, I only need 1 more load, so I did the 4th load too. Literally took me a little over an hour by myself. Not, and I wasn't killing myself, and I wasn't rushing, but My kindling is all restocked again, and I'm good to go for right now. So I like that, being done. So anyway, guys, remember, we are all in this together. That is not just smoke I'm blowing up your butt. I really believe that that is true, and we need to work together. We need to work together now before things happen, and we definitely need to work together after things happen. Networking, getting together with good-minded, like-minded people, that's important. You're going to need to weed out garbage. You are going to need to weed out garbage, and you're going to be able to figure that out because they show themselves over time, okay? And that is a fact, okay? So also remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So make sure you tell the people that you care about every single day how you feel. Also remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that's going to stop you from reaching your goals is you. Nobody else can stop you, okay? Hang in there, guys. Be positive. I will talk to you all later. Hope everybody has a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.